Hi guys, it's Evelyn from Twin Flames 3344. Thank you for joining me today. I've been getting some downloads from my codes directly from Sophia. And I've been getting pieces of these codes for a while now, but they came together in a really big way yesterday. So I wanted to share that. It's a little bit complicated, so bear with me. If you don't understand, you can always ask me in the comments below. Just some of the, and I'll share a few of the downloads I've just been getting in general from yesterday and today. A common theme for me has always been the cycles of 9 and 12. And actually I want to recommend Magenta Pixie's, one of her videos, her old videos came up on my feed today, and I would recommend that highly. It's on Twin Flame Breakups, and she channels the White Wing Collective Consciousness of 9, and that particular video from 2016 explains the Twin Flame energetic breakup in a way that you can really understand and relate to. So if you're guided to, I would give it a try. It's dated from August 21st, 2016. So it's interesting because I always get, you know, in doing cards all the time, you get the Hermit a lot because all of us are going within and really trying to see things from another perspective and connect with our higher selves, all of that kind of thing. And the Hermit is the wise one, right? The wise one, just like the collective consciousness of 9. It's all about the collective consciousness, whether it's a group of 9 or a group of 12 or whatever the group number is, it's all representative of the same one. So it's fine to have groups. And I wanted to put that out there. It's not excluding anyone else. It's just sometimes groups may come together because they're pieces of the same puzzle, because we all have different energetics for a reason. We're supposed to come together to help each other. We're not all supposed to have all the answers, right? Because we're all pieces of the same energy. So how could we possibly all have everything, right? So in also dealing with cards, I go back and forth with the meaning of the Emperor, because really, you know, the Emperor's all about control. He's the ultimate controller, right? He could be a good emperor, but he's still controlling, right? So I often see God as the Emperor, because God is the only controller, or however you term God, whether it's source, love, prime creator. It doesn't matter what the term is. It's all about love energy. So if God is the Emperor, or the wise one, the body of humans, and power equals love, right? Because if God is the Emperor, who is power, and God is love, then any other than love is control or abuse. It's not love. It's not power. Okay? So, as an example, my father wasn't a religious person. He wasn't spiritual. He was very much an intellectual. And before he passed away, I asked him what he believed in, because he was a very good person. He wasn't perfect like everybody else, but he was a very good person. He did a lot of service for, you know, to other people. He was a doctor. He helped people, and he was kind. But he also loved himself first. He did what he loved to do before being kind to others. He was loyal to himself first. So that was a big lesson for me in working with him for a long time. But the answer he gave me when asking him what he believed in was that he believed that all of the cells, like the body, all of the cells work in unison as one, which is a very spiritual way of looking at things. It's just not the way he labeled it. Okay? So in looking at this definition of what love energy is, or God, or Emperor, or the wise one, or power, whatever it may be, this is a perfect example. So in the human body, you have to allow the flow, the natural flow of the body to be healthy, right? The blood has to flow without blockage. And we have to take care of our bodies to keep it healthy for all that to continue flowing properly. So it's very important. So what I was about to say is that the other cells have to do what they have to do for their highest good, even if it doesn't resonate with you as a cell at the same time. So something in the shoulder, for example, may not resonate with what's going on in the toe at the same time. They each have to do what's in their immediate environment, what makes them healthiest at that moment. So, and of course, if blocks come up, just like in traffic, so the body is just like traffic. If a traffic jam comes up, just like a blockage in the body is always going to find a way around that block. And so is the traffic. You're always going to find a way out eventually, right? It's just going to slow things down. So we always want to go the path of least resistance. Okay, makes sense? So how he explained things was really the same as we look at it, just in a different format. So I've been getting these codes. I'll see letters and numbers sometimes put together, and it'll make sense to me in a certain way. So, and I'm not going to show you the symbols right now, because I'd rather get it together in a more formal way, and I don't think it's time for it to come out right now yet. But I've been working a lot with the Roman numeral V and the Roman numeral 10, so the 5s and the 10s, the X's and the V's, as well as the small letter I with the dot and the capital I's. The symbol that I got incorporates everything together so that the Mary and Jesus, or the Oversoul, Christos Sophia, which is Christ and Sophia, the Oversoul of Mary and Jesus, okay, the Oversoul of everyone, really. There's this symbol that I've been able to bring together that brings together the 5, which is the open-ended triangle. Okay, so it's change, but it's open-ended, so there can be constant change in and out, in and out. It's not sealed. That's the co-creation, right? So if you have 2 eyes, so picture the 2 eyes with the dots over them next to the V of change, of co-creation. You have the 2 independent eyes, the 2 twins, constantly go through the V, co-creating, going back and forth like that. That's the flow. So that it's more than just that. So more things come into this symbology. It ends up incorporating both the XX and YX chromosome templates, as well as the triangles, the diamond, and the eyes. And then the eyes came up for me. The small eye with the dot. If you reflect that, it becomes a question mark, right? Which is, and the small eyes were coming up for me as the quantum leaps, because in the example they give you about quantum within an atom, they're explaining to you, how does the electron jump from this circle to this circle without a line drawn in between, because there's no way of explaining how this electron got from this circle to this circle. That's the quantum leap, okay? There's no ability to measure how it got from one place to the other. So the eye is that perfect example of that quantum leap, and if you invert it and you join the dots above, you have a line and a dot and a line. It's like the quantum leap, okay? You had the circle here and the circle here, and there's this dot here that can't be measured because there's nothing there to measure the quantum. So the W's and the M's were also coming up as, because I always see M or MM as Mary Magdalene, and that N, I'm seeing N coded very much as it by itself, and also spelled N, E-N, as Jesus, because the N is half of M, which is half of Mary Magdalene. So I'm showing that that's incomplete, because obviously they were humans, so they aren't going to be the complete soul, as is the Oversoul, and Spirit's connecting with me. They're incomplete. It's side by side as opposed to merged as one, which is fine. There's nothing wrong with that. but it was just showing me the imbalance of the M and the W coming together, as opposed to this other symbology I have of all the V's and the X's. So also the I, so the I, the small I, equals inaction, or the divine feminine, and the reversed I, or the exclamation point, equals the divine masculine, or reaction, okay, or action. So also, if you look at in numerology, Sophia and Christ both are 32. And even if you spell Sophia with F, it's 23. So it's all the same energy, okay? So you can't get around it. Christ and Sophia are equal energies. And if you see Christos Sophia, it's Christ 0 Sophia. So we got the 0 point in between Christ and Sophia. Also, if you add up, so if you add up the 32 and the 32 from Christ and Sophia, that's 64, which was a big awakening for me, because in numerology, you know, for the Divine Triangle book that I go by anyway, 64 is the 10 of swords, and no one sees that as a positive energy. But I'm being shown it's very important that we're not placing enough emphasis on these numbers. You know, we focus on 17 as good, being the star, as opposed to 16, which is the tower. But the tower is very positive energy. It's a quick clearing. It doesn't feel positive, but if you're able to master yourself and stay at 0 point, even with the tower, it doesn't have to affect you that greatly. But it can also clear a lot of wounding out very quickly, which is God trying to help you out. And that's why when you don't do what's best for you, God comes in and gives you a tower moment to clear things out, because you're not doing it for yourself. But you do it in a really quick way. If you allow it to be painful, it will be. But if you master your emotions, you don't have to allow it to be difficult. So anyway, just Christ and Sophia both being 32 and half of that being 16. If you go into multiples of that, it's 16, 32, 48, and 64, which are not the numbers I usually look forward to in my readings, except for the 32, which is the 6 of Wands, which is, you know, that good luck or good news or triumph, leadership, having followers, that success energy. But 48 is the 8 of Cups, which is that going within. So it's all resonating to what we're learning in the twin flame journey. Going back to 0 point is a good thing. Going within, meditating, is reconnecting you to your bliss state. In even 64, it may be described as betrayal and death, that 10, but it's the end of pain, okay? So in the cycle of swords, 1 being the ace, and then 10 is the end of the cycle. It's done. So 64, and then I was guided that to show that when I named my business, Twin Flames 3344, it adds up to 55, which is the Ace of Swords, which is very positive energy in my eyes. But if you add the LLC, which it is legally, it becomes 64. When I named it that, and then realized with the LLC what it was going to be, well, I just had to trust that that was the right thing. Okay? And then where I already knew why the 33 and the 44 were there for my own reasons, and that they added up to 68, which is my twin's destiny number, I was called, when all this came up, to go back and look at it again. Because twin is 21 and flames is 20. So you have the world and the judgment card. They're both the end of the cycle cards, very major. And then 33 is 6 and 44 is 8. So the twin flames part adds up to 41, and the numbers part, 33, 44, adds up to 14. Okay, so those are the reflective energies, the 41 and the 14, and I just brought 41 and 14 up a couple reads ago. And then the LLC is 9, which is that universal selflessness. It's kind of bringing the name into the universal consciousness, the 9. And it comes out to be 64, which is the end of pain. Okay, so it was showing me all of the good parts of what I thought would be a negative connotation. And I love that the 41 of 14 comes up, because the 41 is the Ace of Cups and the 14 is Temperance. It's a very beautiful, loving energy reflecting within my name of my business. And in case any of you are curious how I got the name of my business, the 33 and 44 have resonated throughout my life, especially since I've been into numbers, since my early 20s. And 44 is my life lesson number, so that obviously has always resonated with me. And every person who's always been in my life, usually the romantic aspect of it, had a 33 in their makeup, which is the Christ vibration. They're considered power numbers: 11, 22, 33, and 44. In the divine triangle, it requires twice as much from you as a human in this lifetime, in this reality, but then gives you back twice as much, so you get twice as much love or whatever abundance that you put out, because it's harder for you when you're young, especially if you come in with a soul number that's a power number, like an 11, 22, 33, or 44. So anyway, the reason I didn't use 33, 44 in my name for those reasons. I decided, since I still wasn't sure what numbers to use, because I have other numbers that I also resonate with, but I did resonate very strongly with those. But like my phone number is 4455, so why would I choose 3344 or 4455? What is the number I should use? So one day I just decided to take all of my numbers, the 4 personal numbers that you always have, they don't change, and my twins' 4 personal numbers, and I added them each, and all of my numbers added up to 33. All of his numbers added up to 44. And since 44 already resonated with me, and 33, that was perfect confirmation for me that it should be 3344. So we have all this coding. So I want you, the reason I bring this up to all of you is because I have pieces of the puzzle. This is going to trigger you in some way. You may not be aware of it right now, or it may not be you, it may be someone else who's watching. Someone else will get triggered to their own epiphanies about this information. And so I'm bringing to your awareness the Roman numeral V's, X's, 1's, and also the small i's with the dots over them, and the cycles of 1 through 9 and 12s. Okay, so in numerology, 9 is the base cycle, but 10, 11, 12 are considered the higher octaves of the numerology cycle. So it's kind of like the oversoul. Okay, so there's 3 levels of oversoul, and 3. And then you talk about, I listened to Magenta Pixie, and she'll talk about and I just lost my thought. Anyway, the numerology of it in the 10s, 11s, and 12s. 10 is the wheel. It's in numerology, it's a turn for the better. So after you've completed your numerology cycle, and in the scaling that they do in the divine triangle for numerology, that's based on the Pythagorean theorem, the squares of the 2 sides of an isosceles triangle equaling the square of the hypotenuse. So you literally draw squares outside of all of these lines of that perfect triangle, right? And the first square is youth, the second square is power, the third square is wisdom. So youth plus power equals wisdom. And each line is considered 9 years of your life, and it goes through up to an 81-year-old cycle. And then after that, you're considered free to choose. You can choose to stay, you can choose to go, you can choose to do whatever you want with your life at that point, because you've completed the cycle. And 81 is 9 times 9. So it's all about that base cycle. So once you hit 81, it's like you go into the 10, 11, 12 of the 1 through 9 cycle. Now you're above the 9, so you're free to choose what you want to do. It's like you've mastered. 10 being the turn for the better, 11 being the justice card, which is really about balance and truth, right? And then the 12, which is really the completion, or the Christos Sophia energy, right? So it's the 1 to 0, the 1 to 1, and then the 1 to 2, which is co-creation, right? So it's 1 is always co-creating. So you go 1 to 1 to 1 to 1, right? It's constant co-creating. So just some food for thought, if that triggers anything. And you guys, if you have questions about that, let me know. It's not everything. I'm going to tell you some other things that came up that are even more profound for me today. I ended up writing some lyrics. I'm going to read you the poem, but I'm still working on the song part of it. So I also wanted to bring up, because I had brought this up before in expressing anger and getting all your frustrations out, and not holding in that stuff, even though you want to be a kind person and you don't want to be angry. It's worse to hold it in. You don't take it out on people, but you can let it out on your own, or be physical, go work out, but express that physicality of it, right? And something I wanted to bring up about that is that you don't want to take it out to your twin in person, because the 3D version of your person is going to be affected by that anger. However, if you yell at your twin in the 5D when they're not around, but they may be connected with you in the 5D, that's okay, because their higher self understands the anger and the purge, and they're not going to be affected from it as the 3D person would be. So they could still feel your anger in the 5D, but it's okay, because it's the higher self, and they're able to understand that process, as opposed to the 3D, okay? So, and that was when I was talking about the seesaw of sadness and anger. So don't be afraid to express what you need to express. Your authenticity is always number one, as opposed to kindness. Authenticity first, then kindness. But don't hurt others. If you need to yell or scream or be mean, go do it by yourself. Don't take it out on other people. That doesn't mean somebody maybe didn't deserve it, but don't put that energy out to the other people. You're learning to master that on your own. That your pain is your own wound being reflected out to the world, and now being brought back to you by that other person who's getting in your face. It's your wound. We're learning to heal those wounds. So then I have, starting from let's say the 18th of July, right? So today's the 20th. 7 and 38 were coming up, and 38 is very important to me because it's the Queen of Cups and it's my soul number. And I've said this before, that I've met several twins who all have 38 soul numbers just like me. And 7 is my power number, which is that of very strong spirituality and being able to let things go. So something I resonated as a weakness in my life really ends up being a strength, where I was able to let things go, where other people would say, where other people would expect you to fight for things, and you let things go because things work out in cycles. It's just going with the flow of the universe, whether it's politics or anything else. You do what you resonate with doing, not what other people expect you to do. I also had gotten the angels are calling, and I brought that up recently, this week in the video, but it was coming up again as to the angels are calling out to us to release burdens of everything right now. We just had this, and I'm seeing the proof of it within my family and friends and other twins. The eclipse has already brought up things to release, burdens of manipulations. The 18th was 10 of Wands and the moon, which is large burdens, and the moon is very emotional, and we're in Cancer right now, so we're changing to Leo now. And actually Leo King had brought up that yesterday was going to be a tough, or tomorrow is going to be a tough day, or this weekend, so, and it'd be kind of a crazy week afterwards. So if you're interested, you can watch Leo King. But anyway, we're leaving Cancer today or tomorrow and going into Leo, which will be a much more upbeat energy, but we're also in other complicated aspects, like all the retrogrades that are going on with Mercury and Mars and all the others. But it's okay. I mean, you don't need to feed into any of that. You just need to master your emotions and learn to stay at 0 point when you need to. So I'm bringing up again the solar plexus, heart blocks, and the throat, because the heart is always related to the throat in some capacity. But I wasn't getting a full block in the throat. I was getting full block of the solar plexus in the heart, but half of the throat. So, and this can be in and out. I mean, you can be blocked and then clear it and then be blocked again. So you can do an energetic clearing. You can do your intent clearing, clearing your chakras like you would normally do, but you can also do it just as in energy medicine. If you, it doesn't matter which hand you do it with. I do it with left hand is energy in and right hand is energy out. So I tend to clear the energy with my left hand. So in a counterclockwise way, do this as long as you can, okay? And then in the clockwise way, I do with the other hand to reset. So this kind of like is a magnet drawing the bad energy out, and then going clockwise then with my right hand is like a reset. But in the energy medicine book I have, it does say to do the reset at least half as long as you do the clearing, okay? So you do the counterclockwise clearing. If you can do it for 5 minutes, it's long. It's hard to do it for that long, but you can do it for half a minute, just as long as you do this way, at least more than half of that, okay? So that's another way of clearing your chakras. You can test your chakras by muscle resistance. So if you put your arms straight ahead, or have the person you're testing put their arms straight ahead and then halfway out and hold it there, and then you would come and resist, you'd push down on their arm to see what their resistance is, okay? So it's perpendicular straight out and then on a 90-degree angle out. And that's where you test them. So you push their arm down. As they, with their other hand, hold each chakra, you can test the strength of your chakras, okay? And if you have any questions, just let me know. The energy medicine book I brought up before, but it is, I'm going to show it to you because I've actually received, I started receiving emails from a group that this person's involved with. So, Energy Medicine by Donna Eden, okay? For those of you who are interested, so last night, or over the past couple of days, the numbers have really been coming up, 808, 1111, 1212, like right in sequence at the top of each page. And also, when I do reads for me and my twin, the numbers are synchronizing, the cards are synchronizing, especially like from the numerology deck. Like, so if I get music, he's getting music from I think Change and Moderation were cards that were coming up identical. Actually, today they were identical for me and my twin, which was pretty cool. Also coming up is that in the block area of the normal read, you're coming up as your twin's block, and vice versa. So that was kind of cool too, because you need to surrender and completely let go. So I also watched on the 18th The Girl King, which really resonated with me, and it really was about girl power, because she was very powerful. And it was about a Swedish king. She was raised like a boy to be the king, so she didn't really resonate like the typical feminine. She was very masculine, and she fell in love with one of her ladies in waiting. But anyway, during the movie, she's very curious, and she wants to bring in more knowledge, where, in the past, other people have been spirits connecting with me about all this. So she brought in this doctor who was going to dissect a corpse for them, to show them the pineal gland and how to remove it, to remove, emotions. So if you're a king and you don't want to be in love anymore, because it's not good for your power, that you could remove the pineal gland. So I thought you'd like that. I actually showed them removing the pineal gland, if you're interested. The Girl King, okay? Another line from the movie that I was guided to write down was, I renounce everything I am to be what I want to be. And then I also watched Outside In, which I just like the title for the energy of today. So then I got to yesterday, the 19th, and all about the I reflected and the Christ and Sophia, the 32 and the 32 or 23, and getting into the Trinity and what is exactly the Trinity and the definitions. And so this is where the profundity comes up. Also, I got from Greased Lightning again yesterday, 11:11. I got chills are multiplying. So listen to the lyrics. I got chills are multiplying, and I'm losing control because your power, the power you're supplying, is electrifying. And then she's singing to him, "You better give up because I need a man who can keep me satisfied," right? So, and this resonates with me anyway. I got this through a reading, and I think I brought it up before as a Luna, but it wasn't. It was Twins in Union. She does paintings, and she channels your you and your twin into a painting, and she does a guided read as well. And someone had channeling from Olivia Newton-John came up in her read for me, saying that I'm like Sandy in Greece. So anyway, that had come up for me before I got that reading. The Greased Lightning had come up several times. And by the way, when the numbers 5 and 8 come together, it's considered Greased Lightning. Okay, 8 is power and 5 is freedom, sex, change, all of that. It's that, it's the expansion energy. So when you have power and expansion, it's Greased Lightning. Also, yesterday at 6:38 p.m., Hosanna Hazana came up for me from Jesus Christ Superstar. And I watched last night, I Can Only Imagine. So if you haven't, watch it. It's a really beautiful, heartfelt movie. Something that came out in the movie that was important to Alay was, he was very abused by his father, and because of that abuse went out on his own for a while, left his girlfriend who he really loved, and she really loved him, but because he really needed to fix himself, right? He needed to work on his wounds. So it wasn't until the end, where his father was dying and Spirit's connecting with me of pancreatic cancer, that he was able to bond with him and forgive him. And he talks about that too, never imagining being able to forgive his father. Because he was able to forgive his father, he was then able to ask his girlfriend for forgiveness. So there's that same relationship within the twin flame journey. And Spirit's still connecting with me a lot on that. So from watching this movie last night, I was then guided at 11:33 last night to start writing. And I think the movie was actually still on when I was writing. And I'll tell you, I'm going to read to you my words in a moment. I also got today, on the 20th, at 11:09 this morning, I Want to Be Loved by You. That's what Ginger sings from Gilligan's Island. I want to be loved by you and nobody else but you. I want to be loved by you alone. Doop, boop, boopy doo. But it means something to me because I had asked something to my twin etherically, and that was kind of an answer to my question. But that came up. Also, 11:19, Jesus Loves Me, Yes He Does, from The Bodyguard. So I don't know if somebody might need a bodyguard out there, but that was coming up as important too, to put that out there. And also, when I read The Great Wheel today, I said out loud the Great Wall. So it can have a couple different meanings, whereas the that you're blocking your good fortune, but also can mean divine intervention is blocking you going forward, because you need to do things for yourself to get yourself to a better space for yourself. So don't let the wheel be a wall for you. You have the power within. It's like, what did Glenda say to, that came up today too, what Glenda said to Dorothy in The Wizard of Oz. You had the power inside of you all along, and the Spirit's connecting with me right now. So, okay, so from my codes was very clear. So a lot of this was being pieced together already, but when it came up again for me this morning, the Christ and Sophia energy coming together, the message was Sophia. I mean, was definitely sending me messages directly today. That Sophia is the nothingness. Sophia is the source energy. and that Christ was made from her love, and that this story is actually the reflection of Adam and Eve. And I'm now going to read you the lyrics that were, I mean, my channeling is considered spontaneous channeling because it just comes through me. And that may not be the way that you see a channeler. But this is my lyrics, and it was definitely messages from Sophia. So here goes. It's Christ, O, 0 point, Sophia. In the silence she was, in the darkness she loved. No light, no sound, and no one around, but she was. Then he came, quantum, no name, no face, no fortune, no fame. He loved. She manifested her dream, her yearning for more beauty, more green, something called from above. Her longing, his embers burn, her truth, he would live to but learn. Their knowing, shadowing agony, their glowing, reflecting destiny, the rest would be for them to discern. To those who don't know and still have to learn, that romance is everything, a look of concern, a smile, energy shared, a long embrace, a day, one day, where he finally share his face, when he could contain his passion no more. The wise one had created a door. Christ's love for Sophia, the love for herself, Christ's creation exploding with love. Her heart grew 3 times that day, exploding into 1 trillion drops of rain that would kiss away his pain. Sophia, I exist from you. Sophia, birthed from your rays of blue. Sophia, it was always you. Out of the deep blue sea of her heart came the fireworks of Christ's golden spark that would leave her evergreen but never seen. Her heart ever expanding as he returns her love. The Spirit's connecting with me. Worlds were built, skies and doves, shame and guilt, and peace and love. Her portal of love created heavens above. But they got it wrong about the song. For I am the minor key, because you are the sun in me. Sophia, I exist from you. Sophia, birthed from your rays of blue. Sophia, it was always you. So this was her story that I received, and this was written from what the downloads were from her. But if you read it back in your journey, it resonates exactly. She's reflecting to us her journey, and she's now displaying that through us and our journeys as the exact reflection of Adam and Eve, where it was her source love that created Christ with that quantum leap of the Holy Spirit. Her love was so great that her nothingness became everythingness. So that was the Christ that would create everything. And love her so deeply. Anyway, let me know your thoughts and comments. You may or may not resonate with this, which is just fine, but this is what came through for me. I am going to pull a couple cards for you too. Today is, I told you that today we'd finally be in some heart or some cups energy, as opposed to, we were just in the 9 and 10 of Wands. Today is the Queen of Cups, very fitting for me since that's my soul number, the Queen of Cups, 38. And yeah, let's pull a couple cards. We'll just do one for the twin flames to see what the general energies are for the day. And this is the numerology deck. Okay. So this is for the organic true twin flame community. Okay. Just some general energies for the day. What is the advice? What's the advice for the twin flames today? Okay. And 2 cards popped out. And the bottom of the deck here is New Beginnings, number 1. That's beautiful. So the cards that popped out are Love, Partnership, and Perseverance. Love Partnership is number 26. It's blue and orange, the Merkaba. And this one's all green, which is Perseverance, and number 4. And actually 4 I wrote down in my notes today because it came up in my meditation space. As you know, the hangman always has their leg bent like that, and I have an inversion table, so I invert a lot from my back. But I was being guided to bend my leg in like that, but it's also the number 4, so 4 was coming up as very important. Has to do with structural changes, right? 26 is an 8, so that's of power and manifestation, of, you know, deep inner strength, mastering your abilities for your love partnership. So it's blue and orange, so the 26 is the sacral and the throat. Okay, so synchronizing your creativity and your sexuality with the way you speak to others, the way you speak to yourself, and just speaking your truth in general, just speaking your truth. But we also have green for perseverance, about staying in your heart space at 0 point, and that's the 4, the stability, because you know, 4 is, your heart is your home. Okay, your 4th chakra. 1, 2, 3, 4. Not your structure that you live in. Your heart is your home. So we have 4s and 8s coming up today. The 26 of love partnership is the 6 of the mother energy on the inside, coming through the feminine energy on the outside, which is very much give and take, being able to see both sides of the situation, sharing. It's that very much that kind of energy. So it's very feminine energy, the love partnership, bringing the sacral energy together with expression. Okay. And then the new beginnings at the bottom for everyone, number 1, and that was all sacral. Then we will, okay, from the golden, from the gilded tarot. These are kind of old, so they don't shuffle that great anymore, but I'll do my best. See if I can shuffle this way. Okay. For the organic twin flames, organic, divine, true twin flames, what is the advice for today? What is the energy? Okay. And the card that flipped out was Judgment. Okay, which is XX, which is some of the symbols that I brought up today. And then at the bottom of the deck is the Fool reversed. Okay. So the Fool reversed is about having a lack of faith, right? Because when he's upright, he takes a leap of faith. So when it's reversed, he takes a leap and falls on his face because it probably wasn't a good decision. So that's the underlying energy. So there may be something, and it can be the divine feminine or the divine masculine. There may have been a bad decision that was made, but you're being called to action here. Maybe to correct that, to make a judgment. Okay? You are human, and you are going to make judgments every day. You make a choice to breathe every day. You can't get around it. When you say someone's beautiful, you're making a judgment. There's nothing wrong with that. It's just as we ascend, we are mastering ourselves to become less and less judgmental of others, right? And of ourselves. Doesn't mean you don't need to judge, okay? This is also can be announcements being made, big announcements, especially if there was some kind of screw up with the Fool reverse, because that's truly foolish energy. So there may be an announcement of this. So it's okay to have your own thoughts about things, but also question your own judgment. Why do you see that in that perspective? Okay, and that's part of bringing up more stuff within yourself. Why do you see things in that way? And then we have the Tarot of Sexual Magic. And so far we have, you know, very powerful energies. We just got 2 major arcana for the 2 cards that I picked from that deck, Judgment and the Fool. And then we have love, partnerships, and perseverance, right? So it's not giving up. Who succeeds? They talk about this in acting all the time. The ones that succeed are the ones that don't give up. You know, because most people give up after a few years. They get tired of being rejected and they give up. But the one who perseveres, because they can see beyond the rejection, those are the ones, you know, who win the prize. So for the organic true twin flames, what is the advice from the Tarot of Sexual Magic? Oop. And a couple fell out here. The bottom of the deck is the Tower. Okay. Sorry if that offends anyone, but it is just a painting. So the Tower is about sexual jealousy, you know, third-party situations. That's the underlying energy from this. And then the cards that came out are here. This is the way they came out. They fell together. We have the 6 of Pentacles. That's the 6 of Pentacles, okay? So she's imbalanced. So 6 of Pentacles can be balanced or imbalanced, but in this deck, it really shows the imbalance of the 6 of Pentacles. She's tempted by apples and alcohol and her emotions of grief, right? And there's a man behind her catching her this way. It doesn't show his emotions about it, though. He could be either wanting to rescue her or being sick of it and not wanting to deal with it anymore. And then we have the 2 of Wands. Is about, you know, getting to know each other, going out on a date, connecting again. So that's the 2 of Wands, the twin flames, okay? So maybe you'll have a twin flame conversation. And then also the 3 of Wands, or the 3 of Flames, okay? That's about a romantic tie, okay? It's very sweet and innocent and loving and true. So maybe there may be some perseverance and balancing. It may be that the Divine Masculine's coming to say something and wants to talk, okay? So it's actually very positive energy, having to do with third-party situation and jealousy and hurt and all that kind of stuff, having made a bad decision or having been foolish and not seen what it was. And depending where you are in your journey, you know, it could be a different story, but you apply it the way it fits to your story. So then we have, I'll have my mini deck for Rider-Waite. We'll do that one real quick for the traditional cards. For the organic true twin flames, what is the advice for the organic true twin flames? What is the advice? What is the advice? Sorry, they're kind of getting jumbled up. What is the advice for the organic true twins? It's a little choppy. A little choppy. What is the advice? What is the advice? Oh. Okay. The bottom of the deck is 3 of Wands again, so we just had that from the other deck. So that's about, in this deck, there's no ships or anything. It's just looking out to a barren desert. And it's really about staying present. There's nothing out there in the future. When you stay present and you appreciate your present moment. The cards that fell out, they fell out just like this together. I'll show you. We have the Knight of Swords reversed, the Emperor, the King of Cups, and then the Knight of Cups there at the end there. Okay, it's the Knight of Cups. Okay, so really positive energy. And you notice it's all masculines. So the Knight of Swords has been coming up a lot. Whether it's harsh words or messages of truth or announcements being held back. Okay, could be all of those things. But it has to do with 3 male energies or masculine energies that are all upright. So all in their positive aspect. We have the Emperor, which could be God. We have the King of Cups, which was yesterday's energy. Yesterday was King of Cups, today is the Queen of Cups. Tomorrow is the Knight of Cups, which is also coming up upright. And it's kind of like the Emperor. It's really talking about the Divine Masculine, specifically. Can't get more clear than that, right? All four masculine energies and the Emperor, okay? So it's really, it looks like the Emperor was holding back his truth, okay, or an announcement to stay in control of his situations, but then softening up as his more family persona, right? The kind, loving father. It could also be that this is a boss or a father figure in his life, okay, and that this is the Divine Masculine, but also coming into his positive aspect of the King of Cups, which is unconditional love, and getting ready to offer love, okay? Been holding back his truth, or someone's been blocking him from speaking his truth, okay? So, and that's specifically to the Divine Masculine. And then from Romance Angels, we'll pick a card. Okay, for the organic true twin flames, what is the advice from the Romance Angels? What is the advice from the Romance Angels for the true organic twins? And that came right out. So the bottom of the deck here is engagement. So the underlying energy, okay, engagement. And it says, your love life is ascending to a higher level of commitment. And passion was under that card, by the way, if you're interested. And the cards that came out were pay attention to the red flags and children. And I'll show them both to you. Okay, so that's children. So it's just saying that children are affecting your love life. Okay, so it could be your children or your inner child or somebody else's children. It just depends on your specific situation. And it's just saying that you have children involved in your life. And maybe they're keeping you busy so you don't have time for your love life. It's just saying that children are affecting your love life. Whatever the case may be, you can certainly relate that to your own situation. And then pay attention to the red flags. The signs are cautioning you. So pay attention to your signs and synchronicities. Your guides are always trying to help you, you know, find your way. That's what they're there for. They're your guides. So if signs are cautioning you, pay attention to your body and what it's telling you. Is someone making you feel good or feel bad? Okay, and then if they're making you feel bad, why are they making you feel bad? Is it your own blocks, or is it because they're no longer for your highest good? Those are the determinations that you need to make, the discernment. And trusting your own higher self, okay? And not relying on others to tell you what's best for you. No one knows what's best for you except for you and your guides, okay? So you guys have to learn to, certainly you can look on YouTube for help, but you ultimately have to learn to master your own connection, because you're never going to get the full truth until you master your own connection. You've had what you've needed inside you all along, says Glenda to Dorothy. Okay? So, I'm going to pull one more just from my Syrian deck for you. I don't usually use this one, but I love this one. So the cards are really big. Okay, so for the true organic twins, twin flames, okay, what is the message? What is the guidance for the true organic twins, twin flames? And perfect. So I'm going to show you the bottom of the deck. The sun, okay, full exposure, and the sun. Really good power if you use it wisely, right? So the bottom of the deck the card that came out is the 10 of Orbs, which is the 10 of Swords, just like I was talking about in the beginning of the video. This is the end of pain, okay? Taking a rest, and then waking up the next morning and feeling better, having a new perspective. You've ended the cycle, okay? The Two of Crystals was kind of loose at the coming out there. It wasn't like the Ten of Swords. The Ten of Swords was definitely coming out. But this, in case you're interested to kind of wanted to come out, was Two of Crystals, which is like Pentacles. So in this deck, whereas in the normal or the traditional deck is juggling the crystals, here he's praying. He could be looking for a message. He could be giving it up to God. But apply that to your own situation. He's got a crystal ball in one hand and a crystal in the other. Which resonates with him more. That's about making your own judgments. Be discerning. That's judgment. It's okay to make a judgment. Be kind, but be kind to yourself first. So don't be kind if someone's not being nice to you. Just don't react also. Take yourself out of the situation as opposed to feeding into the negative energy. Okay? So I hope that was helpful to you guys. Let me know in the comments if anything brought anything up for you. And you know my website and everything, my email, everything's below. If you need a session for coaching, whatever you'd like, I'm here for you. And thank you all for your likes, shares, subscribes, and your time and your comments. I love speaking to you all. I know it's not always easy, but it's just about trying to get back to to feel like your 3D self again, although you're not your 3D self anymore, to get back into life, to be out there with other people, to do things that make you feel good and make you happy, and to help others. Okay? So rise and be loved, guys. Take care.